Let us begin the journey into the Faroe Islands, one of the most mysterious places in Europe, where nature still holds the final authority. The journey of exploring the Faroe Islands begins at Vidareidi, a place that has never rushed to join the modern world. This village lies at the northern tip of Vidoy Island within the Faroe Islands, set in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. Its permanent population is only around 300 people, spread across a narrow space pressed between the sea and the mountains. The average elevation of the residential area is only a few meters above sea level, while behind it rises Villingadalsfjall, the highest mountain in the archipelago, reaching more than 800 meters in height. Vidareidi Church was built in the 19th century and remains one of the oldest religious structures still in active use in the Faroe Islands. The climate here is cold maritime, marked by strong winds throughout the year, high rainfall, and far fewer sunny days than most of Europe. Yet what makes Vidareidi memorable lies in the experiences it offers to those willing to stay long enough. You can walk along the coastline in the early morning, when mist still hangs low and the sound of waves feels like the heavy breathing of the ocean. From the village, a trail leads up the slope of Villingadalsfjall and opens into a quiet mountain hike where every step is taken in the wind, with no railings and no unnecessary signposts. Winter brings a different experience. Snow settles low, light grows faint, and time itself seems to contract. Vidareidi does not offer you many experiences, but it gives you something rarer than most places: the feeling of standing at the edge of the world, with no need to go any farther. The sound of the vehicle engine echoes dully as we pass through subsea tunnels running hundreds of meters beneath the ocean floor. The moment we emerge from the darkness, fishing boat horns and the sharp scent of salt in the air welcome you to Klaksvik. This is the second largest city in the Faroe Islands, located on Borðoy Island, backed by steep mountain walls and opening onto a narrow and deep bay that constantly changes color with the sky. The population stands at approximately 5,123 people as of September in the year 2025. It may sound small, but imagine 5,000 people living side by side with horizontal rain and winds that seem to have opinions of their own, and you begin to understand the resilience of this community. Klaksvik Fishing Harbour is one of the most important fishing and seafood processing centres in the Faroe Islands. Fishing vessels are moored tightly together, carrying the mixed scents of salt, engine oil, and fresh fish, the unmistakable aroma of an economy bound closely to the sea. Here, you can leave the residential area within minutes and find yourself on trails climbing toward the mountain slopes. In the early morning, you can follow fishermen to the harbor and witness the catch and trade of fish taking place directly along the shore. At the town center stands Christianskirkjan, a structure inspired by traditional Nordic hall churches. It serves as a memorial to sailors who lost their lives during the Second World War. Even in a town that feels like a painted scene, history remains present, inviting quiet reflection. Located at the northernmost promontory of Faroe Island, Faroe Lighthouse marks the point where land ends and the Atlantic Ocean begins to speak. There is no major road leading straight to this place, and to reach Faroe, you must take a ferry and then pass through a series of narrow tunnels drilled through solid rock. Along that trail, the wind lashes across your face like a warning, with no railings, no barriers, soft grass underfoot, and a cold, unforgiving abyss opening ahead. Then you stop and look at the small lighthouse standing within an immense space, as Faroe Lighthouse, built in the year 1924, reveals its simple form, with a low, white body and a red roof. The light from this place guides offshore vessels through fog and violent storms. The experience here is not about comfort or relaxation, but about the moment you stand amid roaring sea winds, watch clouds drift low at eye level, and see seabirds glide close along the cliff face. After leaving, you may ask yourself why you feel happiness simply from walking to a place that survival instinct repeatedly warned you to avoid, and no answer is needed. Because that is the singular allure of Faroe Lighthouse. The sound of tires grinding against winding mountain roads twists like a ribbon along the slopes of Eysturoy. Ahead lies Gjogv, a village not built to welcome crowds, but to endure steadily against wind and sea. The entire village revolves around a natural rock gorge about 200 meters long that cuts deep into the land. Beyond its scenic value, this place also serves as a rough harbor, just sufficient for small wooden boats to shelter from storms. Grass-covered roofs, grey stone walls, and narrow paths that follow the terrain make Gjogv feel like a story written in stone and weather. According to data released at the end of the year 2025, the permanent population of Gjogv is about 19 people. Yes, 19 people you did not mishear. There are not even enough people for a football match. For travelers, Gjogv offers very personal experiences. You can walk along the rock gorge, leading out to the sea, and listen to waves striking the stone walls like the heavy breathing of the ocean. On windy days, simply standing still is enough to feel the invisible pressure of the air, a reminder that you are standing at the edge of the world. Off the northern coast of Eysturoy Island, near the town of Eide, two sea stacks rise apart from the mainland. The Faroes call them the Giant and the Witch. The Giant stands about 71 meters tall and farther from shore. The Witch is slightly shorter at 68 meters and stands closer to land. Both are basalt formations shaped into human-like figures by waves and wind over centuries. Then the story turns strange, exactly in the way islanders like to tell it. Legend says the two came from Iceland to drag the entire Faroe Islands back to their homeland. The Witch was assigned to climb Eideskolur to fasten the rope, but daylight arrived too quickly, and both turned to stone where they stood. On foggy days, Rissin and Kellingin appear and disappear, creating a dark and mysterious scene as if time has been frozen for thousands of years. You can pull over at viewpoints along the road between Eide and Eideskard Pass and wait for the clouds to open a bright gap toward the two rock pillars. The narrow road leading into Saxon makes you feel as if you are traveling backward in time to the medieval era. Here, the silence is so complete that you can hear the breathing of sheep grazing calmly along the roadside. Saxon is located on the northwest coast of Streymoy Island within Sunda municipality. The population of Saxon hovers around only 10 people, even fewer than in Gjogva village. At the center lies Polarin, a tidal lagoon connected to the sea. It was once a deep bay until a storm carried sand inward and sealed it off from the open ocean. On a slightly elevated patch of land stands a white church with simple architecture, set apart from the surrounding houses. This church originally stood in Tjornuvik, but was dismantled and transported across the mountains to be rebuilt in Saxon in the year 1858. Nearby is Duvugardar, a heritage farm that also functions as a museum. Although nearly 300 years old, the farm remains active today, with around 710 ewes. That means you are visiting a museum where the exhibits walk, graze, and show no interest in whether you are filming or not. Afterward, you can continue toward the black sand beach at the mouth of the lagoon and watch waves strike directly against the shoreline. Saxon is not meant for haste. It is a place where the soul is cleansed by the quiet presence of stone and grass, a place the modern world seems never to have touched. The roar of falling water overwhelms every other sound as your vehicle approaches the eastern coast of Streymoy, where Fossa Waterfall is located. You can feel fine droplets of water striking the windshield, even while still some distance from the base of the falls. With a height of about 140 meters, Fossa is considered the tallest waterfall in the archipelago. The water descends in two distinct tiers, as if even the flow understands the art of dramatic pacing. What feels most visually striking here is contrast. White water, dark basalt cliffs, and the sea below act like a deep bass note, reminding you that everything unfolding here carries weight and seriousness. Walk slowly along the edge of the cliff and look for a lower vantage point. From there, now you can see the powerful stream of the waterfall being swallowed instantly by the ocean. If you enjoy photography, wait patiently for a moment when the wind softens, allowing a thin veil of mist to drift across the scene. If you choose to move closer for tight shots, remember that the rocks can be slippery and the rushing water below will not behave politely. At the northern edge of Streymoy Island lies a small village called Tjornuvik. People do not come here seeking excitement. They come to listen to the wind speaking with the grass and to watch the sea like a book with no final punctuation. The village belongs to the Faroe Islands and is located within Sunda municipality. The population recorded in September of the year 2025 is 44 people. The road into the village is a single-lane, dead-end route stretching from Haldarsvík, making Tjornuvik feel like the last room at the end of a corridor. Tjornuvik sits neatly within a green valley and then opens onto a black sand beach, as if someone accidentally spilled ink across the landscape. Your experience in Tjornuvik should begin with a slow walk along the black sand shore. You hear the waves pressing against the land. You smell salt woven tightly into the wind. If you enjoy long-distance walking, the trekking route connecting Saxon and Tjornuvik is a worthwhile choice. You cross the mountain pass and then see the entire village appear like a quiet comma set between grass and stone. And if you simply want a modest moment, sit by the shore, let the sea wind flap around you, and allow time to flow away like a retreating tide. Mullafossur waterfall is located in the village of Gassadalur on Vega Island in the Faroe Islands, plunging straight from a cliff about 30 meters high into the deep blue ocean. In the past, this place was almost completely cut off from the rest of the island, and the mountain path was once the main route of connection. In the year 2004, a tunnel was constructed, bringing an end to that isolation in terms of transportation. The White Cascade falls like a delicate ribbon between layers of dark basalt rock, while behind it lies the village of Gassadalur, with green and red-roofed houses resting quietly beneath the imposing shadow of Mount Arnarfjall. For the most rewarding experience, you should arrive early when the air is still cold and clean. And after taking in the dramatic waterfall, you can speak with local residents and listen to their stories about the time when they had to climb over high mountain ridges to reach the outside world before the tunnel was opened. Standing at Mullafossur waterfall, you come to understand a defining trait of nature in the Faroe Islands: the placement of water softness beside rock hardness, with the ocean left to bear witness. On Vega Island, Trelanipa and Bosdalafossur feel like a complete ending to a story written in black stone, cold water, and sea wind across the Faroe Islands. You come here to look at a lake that appears calm and still, then suddenly realize its water ends right at the edge of the sea and drops straight into the ocean. Trelanipa cliffs are famous for making Lake Sorvagsvatn appear as if it is floating above the ocean. Yes, a visual trick of nature that forces your eyes to repeatedly question what they are seeing. From the elevated viewpoint, the smooth quartz blue surface of the lake looks like a massive mirror placed on top of the cliffs, while in reality, the deep blue ocean roars directly below. As you continue walking, the sound of crashing water grows stronger. Not far ahead lies Bosdalafossur waterfall, the final outlet of Lake Sorvagsvatn, plunging into the sea from a height of about 30 meters. White water rushes violently over rock before dissolving into sea foam. Stay on the marked trail, avoid the cliff edge, and accept the cold wind as part of the journey. Trelanipa and Bosdalafossur reveal how reality can surpass imagination, when the boundary between water and sky becomes only a thin line. At times, Faroe Islands nature does not try to overwhelm you. It simply places you at the right angle and lets you doubt your own eyes. Located on the western coast of Faroe Island, Bor feels like a small village stepping out of a fairy tale, with traditional wooden houses and narrow paths running between stone walls. The population of Bor, recorded in September of the year 2025, is 68 people. From Bor, the horizon is not a straight line. It is broken into fragments by cliffs and low-hanging clouds. The houses in the village are all low, dark in tone, and topped with green grass roofs as if wearing winter coats all year round. What makes people linger in Bor is the view out to sea. Before you lies Tindhólmur, a small uninhabited island with 5 jagged peaks like serrated teeth. Farther out stands Drangarnir, rock formations rising like a gateway of the ocean. You can also visit the Church of Bor, built in the year 1865. The quiet interior, soft light, and simple details make it clear why this place needs no display or grandeur. A visit to Bor village will make you realize that the fewer people there are in a place, the more clearly you can hear your own inner voice. And that is what stays with you the longest. Beside the modest seaside houses, the village of Bor is also famous for its priceless view toward natural stone fortresses rising offshore. These are Drangarnir and Tindhólmur. They stand like eternal markers, reminding us that this planet is still filled with wonders not yet fully explored. Located offshore from Faroe Island, Drangarnir is a massive natural stone arch. With a height of about 70 meters, it rises powerfully in the North Atlantic like a gateway to another world, formed by carefully layered basalt rock. Beside it stands Tindhólmur, reaching a height of about 262 meters. This sharply pointed island carries 5 needle-like peaks, appearing both threatening and strikingly beautiful beneath the glow of sunset. You will feel a mix of excitement and unease as the boat moves close to the towering cliffs, forcing you to tilt your head fully back just to take in Drangarnir and Tindhólmur. You can depart from Sorvagur and travel by boat along the bay for a short stretch, usually only about 10 minutes, avoiding the need to cross sensitive terrain. Upon arrival, some tours allow a very short walk to the main viewpoint, close enough to hear waves crashing directly against the rock base. And when you leave, what lingers is not only the grandeur of Drangarnir and Tindhólmur, it is the feeling of having stood before colossal structures shaped by time itself. And even now, the ocean continues that work, one wave at a time. Different from the rugged stone islands rising offshore, the old town of Tórshavn offers a sense of warmth and closeness as you move between black-painted wooden houses, white window frames, and green grass roofs. Tórshavn Old Town is the historic heart of Tórshavn, the capital of the Faroe Islands. The city of Tórshavn has a population of about 14,223 people, while the wider urban area counts around 22,444. The Old Quarter is most often associated with two areas, Rain and Undir Rigi, characterized by black wooden houses, white window frames, and grass-covered roofs. Many of these houses date back to the 14th century and are still inhabited today. At the end of the stone pathway lies the Tinganese Peninsula, where power has been centered since the Viking era around the year 825. Tinganese is described as one of the oldest parliamentary meeting sites in the world, with assembly traditions dating back to around the year 900. To this day, Tinganese remains the working seat of the Faroe Islands government. You walk into narrow, winding alleys, and the stone pavement beneath your feet makes every step sound distinct. The smell of damp wood, the sea, and old hearth smoke blend together. Stop by a small cafe near the harbor, enjoy a hot drink, and quietly watch the sea winds shift direction. Tórshavn Old Town rewards only those who know how to listen and leave gently. The sound of tires rolling slowly along the coastal road of Streymoy leads southward to Kirkjubor, a small village that carries the presence of a former spiritual capital. The atmosphere here holds a solemn stillness, giving you the feeling of stepping into a sacred sanctuary after journeys through rough offshore seas. In the past, this place served as the religious center of the archipelago. Visit St. Olav Church, a structure built before the year 1200 that remains an active place of worship today. Afterward, you can stop by Magnus Cathedral, a monument initiated by Bishop Erlendur around the year 1300. Its unfinished grey stone walls and empty interior spaces make the ruin feel like a manuscript left open and turned by the wind. Beside these ruins stands Kirkjubergardur, a complex of ancient wooden houses whose oldest sections are recorded from the 11th century. The scent of aged wood, muted light, and simple furnishings give the sensation of stepping into a room shaped by many centuries. Today, Kirkjubur has a very small population, about 75 people, according to statistics from September in the year 2025. A small village with immense historical weight, like a tiny key capable of opening a vast door into memory. The sound of the ferry cutting through the waves carries you across the strait towards Sandoy, the flattest island in the Faroe archipelago. Compared to other places, Sandoy places far less strain on your knees. The island lies at the center of the Faroe Islands and covers an area of about 125 square kilometers. Its population is only around 1,300 people, scattered across small villages such as Sandur, Skalavik, and Husavik. The highest point on Sandoy rises just over 400 meters, while most of the island consists of broad grasslands rarely seen elsewhere in the region. The climate is distinctly maritime, with strong winds but less fog than the northern islands. This is the only place in the Faroe Islands with natural sand dunes and numerous freshwater lakes spread across the landscape. Along the coast at Sandur, a long and level sandy beach offers a rare Faroe experience where you can stand for a long time without cliffs pressing in behind you. You can walk across low grass fields where stone fences divide the land in the old way, while seabirds call continuously from the distant shore. Try driving along the road that runs through soft white sand dunes and listen to the tires glide smoothly across the surface. On calm days, Sandoy allows you to hear the sound of the sea more clearly than the wind, something rarely experienced in the Faroe Islands. And do not miss a small grass-roofed house by the lake between Skopun and Sandur. This is one of the most photographed spots on Sandoy. The journey to Mykinis is truly a test of patience, as this is one of the most isolated islands in the Faroe Islands. Within the Faroe Islands, Mykines feels like an outpost of seabirds and wind. After just a few minutes on foot, you can already hear bird calls echoing from the cliffs. During the nesting season, puffins appear in large numbers across grassy slopes and around burrows. The easiest time to see them is usually from early May to the end of August. You can stand still along the trail, use binoculars, and watch entire colonies run their lives with quiet precision. You may find yourself wondering why birds that look as if they are dressed in elegant tuxedos choose to live in a place where the wind blows with such force. If conditions allow, and you can continue onward to Mykines Lighthouse to observe waves crashing against the rock base. A small structure standing in dark waters beside sheer cliffs, it looks like an exclamation mark placed in the middle of vast nature. To reach Mykines, you usually depart from Sørvágur on Vágar Island and take ferry route number 36. The journey takes about 45 minutes. Schedules change by season, with the summer period typically running from early May through the end of August. Weather conditions can cause cancellations, so flexible planning is essential. A fierce wind howls continuously as you climb toward the highest southern slopes of Suðuroy Island. A tightening sensation rises in your chest as you approach the cliff edge, where the ground ends abruptly and gives way to an endless void, dropping straight into the deep blue sea from a height of nearly 500 meters. This is Beinisfjord, a sea cliff in the southern Faroe Islands, located between the villages of Lopra and Sumba. The cliff reaches a height of approximately 469 meters. Beinisfjord embodies a very characteristic Faroe contrast. One side is a vertical wall of rock, dark and cold. The other side is a soft green grassy slope, as if someone deliberately laid a carpet over stone to make the scene feel slightly less terrifying. In the past, and people from Sumba used ropes to descend the cliffside to catch seabirds and collect eggs, despite the dangers of falling rocks and violent gusts of wind. Some lost their lives doing so. Fortunately, people no longer have to risk their lives just to secure a meal. If you seek a journey rich in adventure, follow the hiking route connecting Beinisfjord to Akraberg, stretching about 12.2 kilometers. You will pass through sections where wind strikes from the side, so proper gripping shoes and a waterproof jacket are essential. Do not stand too close to the cliff edge when fog is thick, as visibility can vanish suddenly, making it difficult to distinguish between safe ground and danger. The journey of exploring the Faroe Islands comes to an end at Akraberg Lighthouse, a beacon standing at the southernmost tip of Suðuroy like a perfectly placed final punctuation mark. Akraberg Lighthouse has a white cylindrical tower with a red lantern roof, standing 14 meters tall, while its light is emitted from a height of about 94 meters above sea level. Akraberg was built in the year 1909 and continues to operate automatically. The road leading here is narrow and follows the slope of the land, before opening into a small parking area where you step out and walk on foot toward the rocky headland. At Akraberg Lighthouse, on clear days, you are rewarded with an unobstructed view across the entire surrounding ocean.